Welcome everybody to another Voice of Nick show. We're doing more of our Posthomerica illustrations, and we're gonna keep going with this scene on the wall. So this guy is sort of in, we just want to get the underneath parts. So let's do the gold, I guess. We might want to put something behind the, let's just grab this color real quick. So we're going to fill in all the base colors, then come in with the actual accents. And after this guy, I think we'll start on the wall, because I really want to see what it looks like together before we kind of do everything. All right, so this needs to be on a different layer though, because the spear, actually we'll just delete the spear and we'll redo it, because it's probably easier than... If I was really smart, I would put the back of the spear on the underneath layer and the front of the spear on the upper layer, but I'm not smart enough for that. All right, so the only other color we need is the flesh tone, because his costume is going to be the same. They don't seem to differentiate the actual clothing from the skin in this particular style of Greek art, so we'll do the same. It'll all be one color. All right. Now we want to do the accent colors. Very very quick. We don't want it to look too designed. Okay. Now the metal, we have 3 accent colors, but I think we'll just use this. Oh, we didn't apply the mask. All right. Then we're gonna come in with this, which I guess goes on the same layer. What do we have it for the other one? Yeah, it's all in the same layer. Okay. Give it a little bit of a gold. I'm coming around on this this style. I really didn't like it when we first started because it doesn't allow for a lot of details, but I think it's kind of fun to do. It's definitely different than the black figure and red figure techniques, so that adds a lot of interesting challenges. All right, so then we're gonna take that stuff. Let's take all these and put them in their own layer, which will live separately from the rest. So we'll also just organize this guy's content. Alright, so he is separate from his spear then. And then we'll put the wall layer over him, but under the spear. Okay, so now we're going to actually design what this wall looks like. Let's get rid of our swatches. Put them somewhere else for now. And we'll see what we can do with that. Welcome 7 Bell 7 to the show. We are doing our illustrations at the moment. Welcome in. Welcome Plot King to the show as well. we need to actually use the swatch for this because these aren't 100%. I guess we'll just leave the swatches on then. Plot King saying, where can you get this? So the illustrations that we're doing are, each one is a chapter in the book that I'm publishing, and that's going to be available on Amazon. And then the audiobook will also have, you know, a few illustrations as the artwork for the audiobook itself. That will be available on Audible and Amazon, and I think Apple Books. So yeah, that stuff will all be out. There will be info in, you know, in the chat when it's available, but currently there's no like store page or anything yet. So I will keep you posted. So this piece uses a very kind of primitive, this is not good perspective, but it does indicate the way that they showed perspective. So we're going to keep it. It hurts to even draw that. That's like real, you know, bad art. I don't know how else to put it, but it evokes what they would have done. That's the hardest part about some of these, is trying to separate myself from the style. Yeah, like this, it looks like 1 point perspective because the direction is going in one way on one side and one on the other side, which would be right, but we're actually not increasing. It's actually not 1 point perspective because it's not changing as the fisheye goes outwards. So we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna do this. And then we're gonna get a couple of these bricks. I guess we'll do this door frame too. And we don't really want any of this stuff to look like really clean. The way that this style looks, everything's a little bit sort of lumpy and rough looking. We want to preserve that where possible. Obviously, also the Trojan gate would be like 1,000,000 times taller than this, but you know, that's the kind of stuff that, those are the concessions they would make on Greek pottery. We should do that more properly. Okay. So we'll detail out the door as we go, but I would like to I would like to do it differently than the one they have on this reference. Clocking saying perspective angles can be tricky depending on POV. Right. What's tricky for me is that we are intentionally doing it wrong. Like 1 point perspective, the way it works is that you're coming out in this direction, and then if there were a wall and you're making a bunch of pillars, you know, one would be going like this, and then one would be straight, and then if there was one over here, you know, it would be going like this. But what we're doing is we're keeping them the same intentionally, and that's because we're specifically trying to do the style that the Greeks did in this particular type of art, where they would not follow the rules of perspective. And that's where it's tough, because it's like, I know how to do it correctly, but I'm trying to specifically do it incorrectly. And, you know, it kind of hurts, because it's like, you don't want it to seem like you don't know what you're doing, but you kind of have to make it so that it looks like you don't know what you're doing. So ours is going to be like this, and we got to shut off the characters for a second. Yeah, there's so many instances where we've been intentionally drawing the characters anatomically incorrect and wrong sizes, and, you know, feet are too big and stuff, and all of that is very hard to do when you know the rules of art and stuff, but that's not the way that they would have done it, you know. So we're trying to keep it sort of within the wheelhouse of like what a real piece of Greek pottery would do. Okay, now the really interesting thing about this is that there would actually be black behind this back part. So let's get one more brick here. And then we're gonna do some interesting stuff. But that's gonna be on the next one, ladies and gents. Thank you for joining. That's gonna do it. If you want to see more of the channel, don't forget to hit the follow button. If you want to see more info about this project, you can't find more info about this one because it doesn't exist yet, but you can find my other audiobook narrations that have already been published on Audible by going to my Twitch front page profile thing.